So it drops a little, and that's good news if we're all looking for inflation to fall back. It drops a little, so 9.9%. That's it's less than 10.1. It's less than the 10% that there was the survey. But there's a slightly more worrying trend in core, I suppose, and a lot of the forecasts suggest it'll be back up in October.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call 9.9% inflation good news in any sense of the word, given that the target is 2. What is good news on inflation is what we heard from the Prime Minister on the energy price freeze or cap, given that is actually that has shaved off a full 5 percentage points for our early 2023, late 2022 inflation forecasts. But there is still an inflation problem. Not all of it is energy driven. We are seeing wages rising. We had very recently, earlier this week, a labor market release in the UK as well. We saw wages rising above 5%. So not keeping up with inflation, but still sufficiently high that it is also fueling demand-driven inflation in the UK as well. So the Bank of England very much needs to act.
Nina, in fact, you were kind of saying in the break when we were talking that you think the Bank of England's really far behind the curve. ECB's got a little bit more justification for being cautious, and Fed is now doing the right thing. On the Bank of England, given that you think they're massively behind the curve, how high do they need to get rates? Where do you think the terminal rate needs to be in the UK?
Unfortunately, just because I think they're behind the curve doesn't mean that they agree. So I think what we're going to see for the rest of the year is a further couple of 50 basis point hikes and then one 25 basis point hike. So that is going to bring us to around 3%. I still would expect further rises to around 3.5% in early 2023. There are forecasters out there expecting it to be as high as 4%, but we've just seen so much caution from the Bank of England, and I think that is going to persist, possibly to the detriment of the overall outlook. And then later in 2023, I do think that unlike in the US, the UK is going to see some interest rate cuts due to the very, very serious chance of a recession here.